In the news this week, a campaigner defends the sanctity of life on national television, the architect of liberal gambling laws in the UK wants new safeguards, and a woman who is allergic to her husband says God is her rock. Hello. A pro-life campaigner has defended the sanctity of all human life on national television. Appearing on BBC One's Breakfast Show, Dr. Anthony McCarthy of the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children slammed calls for the current embryo experimentation limit to be doubled. Asked for his response to the calls by outspoken fertility scientists, he stressed that life is from conception and that so far experiments on human embryos have not led to any cures.
What we're talking about is a new human being from conception. That's the only sensible way in which to understand the nature of the embryo. And we're told again and again that we need to respect the embryo, but we actually see mass production, quality control, spare embryos, embryos that we don't need. These are young human beings. We wouldn't talk that way about beings, human beings that were somewhat older, and yet when we talk about the new human being, the person, what we see is an undermining of that. They are created through a production process and they are treated as products, the whole language surrounding them. Now, this extension of the limit is another way of opening further this. And what we've seen actually is a push for no limits. What we've also seen is no cures from the embryo experimentation.
At the end of last year, the Institute learnt that more than 170,000 human embryos were destroyed in the UK between 2014 and 2015. Responding to the figures, veteran pro-life campaigner Josephine Quintavalli said every human embryo is a life to be cherished. Former Culture Secretary Baroness Tessa Jowell has demanded stricter regulations on gambling, despite being responsible for relaxing the law in 2005. In a Lords debate, Lord Foster of Bath criticised the Gambling Act's regulations, citing figures which showed the proliferation of gambling among young people. Lady Jowell maintained that her reforms give the UK one of the best regulated gambling industries in the world. But she argued that because many new gambling products know no borders, new regulation is required. Adrian Parkinson of the Campaign for Fair Gambling welcomed Lady Jowell's comments, but said they had come too late for thousands of people whose lives have been destroyed. Let's hope that ministers today listen carefully to what Tessa Jowell is saying, otherwise they may be back in a few years like her, regretting not doing something. The global persecution of Christians is increasing, Christian charity Open Doors has found. In its most recent religious persecution report, it stated that over 200 million Christians face serious persecution for their faith. North Korea is still classified as the most difficult place to be a Christian. An estimated 70,000 are imprisoned in labour camps. A rise in Islamic extremism has contributed to Sudan, Somalia and Iran being three of the worst countries for Christians to live in over the past 25 years. But over the same period, religious persecution in China has receded, and the church has doubled in size from 50 million Christians in the 80s to nearly 100 million today. Lisa Pearce, CEO of Open Doors UK and Ireland, said the suffering of Christians because of their faith is staggering. In speaking up for the rights of Christians, we, wherever possible, speak up for the rights of all people from every faith and none. And finally, a woman who has a severe condition making her allergic to her husband has honoured God for his provision. Johanna Watkins from Minnesota suffers from mast cell activation syndrome, leaving her severely allergic to scents, foods, sunlight and other people. She lives in a sealed attic bedroom with special filters to purify the air. But despite her pain and isolation, Johanna told the BBC that God is her rock and that she and her husband Scott remain firmly committed to one another.
We every day try to learn more about how we can love each other, and we hold on to hope in God. And I can tell you that even if I have this till I'm 90 years old, I would be committed to my husband with that vow and still love him. Even though my life is hard, it is nothing in comparison to what many people's lives are. And so I have many gifts in my life, many blessings that I have to be thankful for. And that reminds me to not become selfish and just make it all about me.
Johanna opened up about her faith in a recent article for the Gospel Coalition website. If it weren't for God, I'd have given up long ago. But while I've been broken and empty, God has been faithful and strong. He has borne every grief. Well, that's all for this week. For regular updates and information on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.